Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well. So, as promised, your first video of the day is what normally is done in reverse. It's the preview to begin, and then later on, I'm going to give you a news video because we're already hearing about, like what we spoke yesterday, Garnacho, and etc. We'll get into all of it. There's some news on like a TK. Later on tonight, I will summarize everything. Make sure you guys are here, subscribe, notification bell on. But because the game is early tomorrow morning for me, technically tonight, late for you, depending on where you are in the world. If you're in the UK or anywhere before that, then it's technically today. 2 a.m. UK time, 5 a.m. for me. We will be doing the watch along. I will be here. So make sure you guys are here for that. But we're going to start off with a preview. That way there's a good amount of time to be able to sit on this. And it's not just a preview just a few hours before the game. So we're going to get into it. Make sure you guys are here for later on. And the watch along first thing in the morning, basically. Chelsea versus ES Tunis. This is a game where it's pretty straightforward to know what Chelsea need here to get through. We need a draw. And we need a draw simply because of goal difference. Right now, as it stands, ES Tunis have the same amount of points as us. The only thing is that we've got 2 more goals in them, right? We are +1, they are -1, if I'm not mistaken. I've not got the table in front of me. But we're ahead of them on goal difference. So it means if things just stay the way it is, we go through in second place. Now, Flamengo, who are top, have a game to play against LAFC that we are realistically expecting them to win. So trying to go for first is pretty difficult at the moment. And you could say it's just not going to happen. So it's looking like we're going to go through in second, which before this tournament, I think we all knew that it's a possibility, but surely we're going to top the group. And look what's happened. Look what's happened. We're going to go through in second. And I say we're going to go through in second on the basis that we don't fumble this game. Which I'm not expecting, if I'm being completely honest with you. Right? I'll get to the prediction at the end. But ES Tunis will be up for this. The circumstances coming into this game have not been in Chelsea's favour. And I think Tunis will be a little bit more adapted to it. And what is it? Well, we have to be honest here. It is the weather. Enzo Maresca, I don't use the weather as oh no, he's complaining about the weather. But let me explain to you because there is an extreme situation here. When I spoke about Dortmund having to watch the game, their subs watching the game in 30-degree heat, so they were in the dressing room watching the game because of that. I was heavily critical of that because that's just ridiculous. But this game tomorrow could actually be extreme. So, Enzo Maresca in the press conference, and he does this all the time now, doesn't he? I have to point it out. Yeah, it's the Enzo Maresca thing now, isn't it? Every time before he talks, whether he's looking at a journalist or he's looking into the camera or he's at a press conference or he's a post-match interview, he's... Yes, well... it's always... Mate, stop the duck face. Yeah, Enzo, stop. In the press conference, he did say... that training has been very difficult. And it's been difficult because the weather's just been too much. And when he says the weather's been too much, when you look at Philadelphia, it's 38, 39, 40 degrees. It is difficult. They've been having to train while water is still sprinkling on them. And I'm not going to say anything bad about that. There's nothing wrong with that. He has said the training sessions have been very short. We're not training. It's just a case of try and do the max that we can, but we can't exhaust the players because if not, when it comes to match day, they're just not going to be ready. So it's a case of really short training sessions, do what we can, and then just stay in the shade and just recover. Because we need 90 minutes of high level. So, and I get that. With that, I completely get it. Which is why he said there is going to be more rotation. So this is where, look... Going into the last 16, And going into a stage where we have to play our strongest team, I do in this situation now have to take into consideration that we can't just stick with the same players on top of the ones that have been training, that have been playing and are going to be exhausted. I get that there has to be some constant movement here. If not, the players will die, right? So that makes sense. When looking at this game against ES Tunis, you'd think that we should be winning this. I don't want to underestimate them though. Tunis will be a little bit more weather adapted. A little bit more. ES Tunis have a good amount of North African based players. Players that are happy to play in this sort of heat. It won't be easy for them. Don't get me wrong. I know what the climate is in North Africa. Yeah? I know that very well. I am Algerian. I've been there. I've been there at various times of the year. I know what it's like. From April, May, all the way up until September, sometimes October. Summers are 35, 36, up to 40 degrees. In other places, it can hit 45, it can hit 48. That's standard. That's standard summer in North Africa. Right? Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. It's standard, even Egypt. It's standard. So they will be more weather adapted to play in this sort of thing because they are people that from when they were young, even in summers, they would go and play football in this heat. So to a level, it's not all year round, but to a level, they're better acclimatized to it than our players, without question. So that's the one thing that we have to take into consideration is in the extreme circumstance, they will be more prepared than us. Right? We have to rotate because of that. But what I will say is the level on a footballing ability is Chelsea should be superior than ES Tunis. It's not like Flamengo and the South America, the Brazilians, where even on a footballing level, you do go, oh, you know what? They've got their own way, but bloody hell, it works. With Tunis, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. Do not underestimate them. Do not underestimate them. Right? What I will say is as well, their best player, right? Or at least one of their best players is going to be suspended for this. The one who scored against LAFC, Belaili, who funnily enough is Algerian. He's in the Algerian national team. He's suspended and I'm gutted for him because I wanted to see him against Chelsea from a personal perspective. I wanted to see that. But he's not playing. That is a loss for them. That's the equivalent of Chelsea not having Cole Palmer tomorrow. It's the equivalent for them. So I would say we should have what it takes to get the job done here. To at least get a draw. Now, if Flamengo win, if they lose or they draw against LAFC, that's out of our hands. We need a draw to go through. We need a draw to go through. I expect us to win. But how are we going to go about this? Because we do need to think about rotation in this game, especially if it means we get to the last 16 and then we've got an even more difficult game to play, depending on where it's going to be. But this one is going to be very, very reliant on how the weather is going to affect the game. So in terms of the team, I'm going to have to try and just off the top of my head here, try and see who I think is best to come in and rotate with. I would go with... bloody hell. This goalkeeper situation, for one, is just, okay, it's going to be Sanchez. Let's just say it. It's going to be Sanchez, yeah. So Sanchez in goal. You saw against Flamengo the first 10, 15 minutes. It was basically him on suicide watch. You know, unbelievable. Anyway, Sanchez in goal. We ain't really got a left back. So Cucurella has to start. Reece James, I would start at right back. And then I would keep an eye. And if we have to start shifting things later on in the game, but if we get the result in the bag, yeah, if things are going in our favour and you start making changes later, then okay, I get it. But Reece James to start at right back, not Gusto. I would prefer to bring on Gusto later once Chelsea are in a better situation. At centre back, I would go Tosin and Levi Colwill, perhaps. And then later on, I wouldn't mind bringing on Chalobah, for example. Mamadou Sarr is one that I want to try and have a look at, because we're not going to be able to look at these players from the last 16 onwards. So we have to bear that in mind as well. So anyone that we want to see, we need to see at least a little bit today. So that's the centre-back situation. Caicedo and Enzo both playing at the same time here is a little bit... I don't want to run them both into the ground. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind risking... This is going to be a little bit of a risk, considering we've not... You see, this is what I wanted to avoid. This is why it would have been best to start actually experimenting a little bit against LAFC, for example. Or doing the right thing against Flamengo once if we had things under control, and we did have things under control, and if we managed to cement it, then we could have had some flexibility. But having Caicedo and Santos in midfield. Bring on Enzo later. Or even later on, take off Caicedo and bring on Lavia. See if that dynamic can work. But I would have loved to already see Santos by now, but we haven't. So Caicedo and Santos to begin. Let Enzo have a little bit of a breather. Bring on Enzo later and bring on Lavia later as well, I think could be something that we could do. The wingers, we don't really have a choice. There is no choice. Right? There is no choice. It's going to have to be Pedro Neto Madueke. The only other winger that we can turn to later is Tyreek George. Some would argue, and we could use this, and this could come in handy. And this is going to sound mad. Not mad, you get it. But why I'm saying this could actually come in handy is to play Jackson on the left later. Because I wouldn't start No, Jackson's suspended. Oh my God. Oh, I'm flipping that. Sorry, that's actually slipped my mind. You've just caught a live blooper. And I'm leaving this in. Because this is the reality. This is the reality. Yeah, Jackson's suspended. Flipping. Oh, for flips. You know, he would have actually been handy here. Do you know why? He's African. He's African. Stick him in this heat. He'll actually be one of the ones that could handle this compared to the rest of the squad. You see what he's done? Yeah, flipping hell, man. Flipping hell. I wouldn't have minded to see him being shifted over to the left if we do need another winger option in an extreme situation. Tyreek George is the only guy that we can turn to. Yeah, Liam Delap is just going to have to hack it. Oh, flipping Liam Delap. Poor Liam Delap. Oh, man. It's just straight out of Ipswich. Yeah? So nice little cold Ipswich. And now he's going to have to just hack it in 39-degree weather. I mean, Liam Delap, mate, good luck. You're going to get one hell of a tan, that's for sure, mate. We ain't got a choice. There we are. We ain't got a choice. Okay, it's going to be Pedro Neto Madueke. If we have to change a winger, it's going to have to be Tyreek George. And the other winger's just going to have to hack it. We ain't got options. And Liam Delap's just going to have to hack it. We ain't got options. Now, if the game is in the bag properly, take off Liam Delap, bring on Margue. That's all we can do. I've laid that out as best as I could. I've probably told you guys every single legitimate option that exists on the table. And of course, there's Cole Palmer. I don't need to say that. Cole Palmer ahead of the midfield. I mean, that's it. Another option is to actually move him over to the wing. But again, who are we going to play in the 10 then? Nkunku? Do you know what I mean? So, no. That's how the situation looks. And we're just going to have to hack it and be men here and just go for it. You ain't got a choice. There's things you can't control. The weather you can't control. You can try and manage it the best that you can. I don't want to see any stupidness from Enzo Maresca. If I see Reece James in midfield, again, for example, I'm kicking off. I'm kicking off. It's just not necessary. Everyone just playing their position and that's it. So that's how I'm seeing it. Let me know your thoughts down below. My prediction... I'm going with I'm going with a narrow 2-1 win to Chelsea. 2-1. Maybe even just 1-0. But 1 goal difference in Chelsea's favour. I think ES Tunis will start bright. And then I think the more that the game goes on... No, actually, I take that back. I take that back. Like I said, the weather is in their favour. Chelsea can tire easier. Chelsea start bright. Tunis get themselves into the game later. We hold on. Similar situation to the Flamengo game, except I think the quality from Flamengo is higher than ES Tunis. And this is where I think Chelsea get it. So that's my prediction. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated your predictions. I will see all of you later on for video number 2, the news video. And then I'll see you first thing in the morning, early. Be there, watch along. We'll watch the game together. So thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts, your predictions down below. And I'll catch you later in a bit. Take care and peace.